Welcome back. We are going to be making a salad of grapefruits, avocados, and making a dressing out of mint. Right now at our place in Santa Barbara, our avocado and grapefruit trees are exploding, and so this salad was born from that. We also harvested some lettuce here from the Peace Offering Gardens in Woodside. We are going to start by making the mint dressing, and so I'm going to use a blender for that. So unfortunately, mint stems are a little bit too woody to puree, and so we're going to need to pull off all the leaves and put them into the blender. Mint is an amazing herb, and it is so easy to grow. In fact, once you start it in your garden, you can never stop it. But it's wonderful because it has so many wonderful effects for the body. This is spearmint. We grow all kinds of mint here. But spearmint is known to be best for children. And if you combine it with catnip, you can make a little blend for fever for children. If you combine it with lemon balm, then it's used to counteract hyperactivity and anxiety in children. It's a digestive, and it also strengthens the nervous system. It's cooling to the skin. It's also cooling to the digestive system. It stimulates blood flow and has a warming sensation. And it sweetens the mouth after sickness. So if you've just gotten sick and thrown up, the best thing to do is grab a little spearmint and chew it in between your teeth. It also settles the stomach, especially when you combine it with ginger. So I'm making a big batch today. And this I'm calling a salad dressing, but as with any of my dressings, you can put them on anything. You can put them on your eggs for breakfast. You can roast vegetables and then toss them in one of these dressings. And it's also something that you can substitute any herb, and you can add just about any source of heat if you wanted to add a pepper to it to make it spicy. That might be a nice counterbalance to the cooling mint. But for this dressing, we're going to be going for the sweetness, and so I'll be adding honey to it. As with all salad dressings, we're going to go for the proper fat to acid ratio. I'm going to use olive oil, 3 parts olive oil to 1 part acid. Today, I'm going to use lime. So I'll start by adding in the olive oil. You want to make sure that you have enough so that the mint can all get combined. That should do it. And now I'm going to see just how juicy these limes are. Not very juicy at all. So I will most likely use 2 limes. The juice of 2 limes, rather. So you can substitute any acid for this. Any sort of vinegar. A white wine vinegar or a champagne vinegar would be nice. Sherry vinegar. Or lemon juice. Yeah, juicy one. All right, that is perfect. And up next, we will add the honey. I would call this a heaping tablespoon of honey, but you should do it to your taste. If you don't want your dressing to be particularly sweet, use less honey. Just make it taste great for you. All right, next we'll be using the salt and the pepper. I always am generous with the salt because this is a sauce, and so it is there to add flavor. And some pepper. And now we blend. And now we taste for flavor. It's wonderful. But you can always add more salt. Remember, you can never take the salt away. All right, we're going to leave that dressing and then prep the rest of the salad. I'm going to compost these limes. We'll start with the grapefruits. and you want to make sure to get all of the rind, including the white part, off. And so I'm going to start by cutting off the top and the bottom. And then now you can see how to cut off the edge. Okay, and then from here, we'll cut it into chunks and remove any seeds. The white part of the grapefruit can be quite bitter. Cutting the rest of these into big bite-sized chunks. And then I'll toss it in my salad. One more grapefruit. Cutting off the top and the bottom. See how I can't really see where it begins and ends, so I'm going to cut it even further in. And now I know where the rind begins and the fruit ends. All right. Now I'm going to compost this and we'll cut up our avocados. All right, I'm going to show you how I cut up an avocado. After cutting sushi for many years, I started cutting the top off to start, because sometimes there's a little piece of the stem there that you never want to get into your food. So once you've cut off the top, you can see where the center is. You want to be very mindful of your non-dominant hand, and then start cutting in a center line around the pit and twist it off like this. Then the next thing to do is to remove the pit. So I like to take my knife and stab it in there, twist it out, and then take it off. So now we have these two halves here, which I'm going to use the tip of my knife to make little chunks, being careful not to cut my fingers on the other side. So I make lines this way and then lines this way. I'm going to do the same thing to the other avocado. Then I'm going to take a spoon and scoop it out into my salad. And then I have pre-cut avocado chunks for the salad. And then we will do the other one. Cutting off the tip. That one has the piece of the stem in it. And then in half. Twisting out the pit. And now just to show you what I'm doing on the compost bin, I'm putting the knife up against it and pulling it out. Then I'll make my little checkerboard. And then scoop it out into the salad. All right. All right, now it's time to dress our salad. I always like to zhuzh up the dressing one last time. Great. And pour it over the top. See how beautifully green that is. And now we'll toss it. So you always want to scoop from the outside and come in and sort of create a volcano at the center. Being light and delicate with this butter lettuce, which is so fragile. And there you have it. See you next time.